Health insurance. In Germany, every resident needs health insurance. You never know when you're gonna need it, so Germany makes sure that you've got it. In today's video, I want to give a very brief introduction in the two different types of health insurance systems that are available here in Germany, to look at how health insurance is different between these two systems, and finally offer some suggestions as to which providers I think are worth looking into. I'm Josiah. On this channel, we're talking about global living, travel. If that's relevant to you, be sure to subscribe and hit the like button if you find today's video helpful. In Germany, there are two different health insurance systems: the public health insurance system, or the Gesetzliche Krankenversicherung, which also sometimes is referred to as the GKV, and then you have the private system, the Private Krankenversicherung, or the PKV. Within each one of these insurance systems, you have various different insurance providers that you as a consumer are able to choose from. So as I said before, in this video, I want to give a brief introduction into these two different systems, look at how coverage is different between them, and then finally at the end offer suggestions as to which providers I think are worth looking into. Let's start off by looking at the public health insurance system. Around 90% of people in Germany are insured in the public health insurance system, so odds are this is where you're going to find yourself. There can sometimes be a negative stigma around socialized healthcare or public health insurance systems, but coming from somebody who's gone through the process of having kids in Germany, made many trips to the emergency rooms over the years, visits with countless doctors across dozens of specialties, the healthcare and health insurance systems have been really good for us. Nothing is obviously perfect, but we have always had insured access to any of the medical care that we've needed. Within the public health insurance system, there are various providers. And so even though there's different providers, coverage is going to be very similar between them all. Sometimes it almost looks identical, as the government regulates around 95% of what insurance providers must cover. So this is very nice. So even as you visit doctors, they know exactly what treatments are and are not covered. It makes things very straightforward. No need to read through the fine print or wonder, is it going to be covered? Is it not going to be covered? How does the public health insurance system work here in Germany? A health insurance provider functions as a large insurance fund, and you as the customer, or actually you're considered a member of this fund, your insurance contribution is automatically taken out of your paycheck every month, and the total contribution toward the fund that you make is 15% of your monthly salary. The good news is, of that 15%, you only pay half, and your employer pays the other half. I don't want to today go into too much details into the economics of the system, looking at how it works, but some details about the public health insurance system that you should know. Everyone is allowed access to coverage in the public health insurance system. You are not allowed to be denied because of your age or maybe your health condition. Because everyone is allowed health insurance coverage, the system relies on having as many people as possible paying into the fund, especially as many young and healthy individuals as possible who have much lower medical costs, which ends up balancing the extra medical costs of those who might be older or more sick. Each insurance provider is its own health insurance fund, and it evaluates the coverage that you receive and the contributions that you need to make based on how the fund is doing. And every year, if they see that there's more being paid out than that's being paid in, they can bump up the insurance premiums that you need to pay, or sometimes take away some of the coverage that you might receive. Although all of the companies are basically identical, each company will add extra coverage options or perks, something like free travel immunizations or extra dental coverage, in order to set them apart from one another. As the more members that each fund or company has, the better their company is going to do. This is really good news for us as the consumer, as we have options to choose from. It means the insurance companies actually need to try and can't be too lazy. They need to try to provide a good customer experience for us. They need to try to keep us happy. They need to try to give us what we want. Otherwise, if we're not happy, we'll go look and find a different company to be insured with. So next, we have the private health insurance system. The private health insurance system offers an alternative to the public system. In the private system, it does not function like a fund. You are not a member, you are a customer, and nothing comes out of your paycheck automatically every month. You send the payments yourself and you deal directly with your insurance provider. One of the things to know is not everyone is allowed access into the private health insurance system. Only under certain conditions are you allowed to do so. This helps in keeping the majority of people in the public health insurance system. What criteria qualifies you to have private health insurance as opposed to public health insurance? 1, if you make 62,550 euros or more every year, you are allowed to enter into the private health insurance system. If you are a freelance worker or you're self-employed, you are allowed access into the private health insurance system. If you're a student, or if you're someone without any income at all, you're allowed access into the private health insurance system. Oftentimes, those with higher incomes enter into the private system as the premiums are not percentage-based based on your salary. There are for sure some added benefits in going into the private health insurance system. You will get faster healthcare from professionals. Not necessarily that you're going to get better, but you're for sure going to get faster care. Premiums vary greatly from company to company. A provider is not required to accept you. They factor your age, your health condition into determining 1, do they accept you? And 2, what is your monthly premium? They often require that you pass a health checkup in order to be enrolled. Now that we know a little bit about the private health insurance system and the public health insurance system, let's look at some of their differences. Before we do, I would love to hear in the comments below, what questions do you still have about the public or private health insurance systems? Now let's take a look at some of the significant differences between these two health insurance systems. First up, we have cost. How much are you going to pay? Cost in the public health insurance system is based on your income. You pay roughly 7.5% of your monthly salary. Cost in the private system is not income dependent. It's based on your age, your health, and what coverage options you want to receive from your provider. One of the most significant differences between these systems is when it comes to family coverage. In the private system, you pay for each individual extra. If you have a family for 6, you pay for 6 people. In the public system, on the other hand, family coverage costs nothing extra. All of your children and your spouse, so long as they're not earning an income, are covered extra for free. Next, we have billing and deductibles. If you are insured by a private insurance company, you first pay out of pocket for your medical costs and your doctor visits, and then you are reimbursed by your health insurance company. In the public system, you don't pay anything out of pocket, and the doctors or medical care providers deal directly with payment from the insurance companies. Deductibles don't really exist within the health insurance system here in Germany, though with certain treatments, only a percentage of the costs might be covered, and then you pay the rest. International coverage is another area where these two can differ. Public health insurance companies provide health insurance coverage within the EU, and you need to purchase international health insurance extra. Private companies often have travel insurance for outside the EU built into their premiums. Now that you know a little bit more about the health insurance systems, some of their differences, you need to start looking for a health insurance provider. I want to share a few of my suggestions as to what health insurance providers I suggest you look into. And of course, I'll include all the links in the description below. When it comes to the public health insurance system, I'm going to suggest Techniker. They're what my family and I use. They're the largest company in Germany. They offer full English support. They have very, very fast customer service. Their app makes it very easy to communicate with them, makes all of your personal medical information very accessible. They also offer some nice side perks, free travel immunizations. They offer very cheap access to international travel insurance, which comes to around 30 euros a year for my entire family. So whenever we make trips to America, we're covered up to 6 weeks. Now, if we look at private health insurance, Dr. Walter is a company that offers some of the best budget options. At only 38 euros a month, you can be fully insured. It even covers you outside of Germany up to 6 weeks and also includes a personal liability insurance or Haftpflicht. You will want to be aware that with Dr. Walter, they do not cover anything that is pre-existing. This is one of the cheapest options. It is great for students, language learners. Dr. Walter even has a handful of different coverage options depending on what your needs are. Dr. Walter is going to be really cheap, but it's not going to give you the most expansive coverage. If you're looking for more, I suggest looking at a company called Autonova. They have really good insurance options, especially for expats. They have travel insurance included. They're very digital friendly. I suggest checking them out. And finally, whatever provider you end up choosing, you are certain to get great healthcare coverage here in Germany. If today's video has been helpful, hit that like button and be sure to subscribe for future content just like this. Until next time.